Namaskaram everyone. I'm doing this video about my volunteering experience in April the 1st and 2nd, 2017, and this was last weekend, and it was also the moment when I met Sadhguru for the first time, so I thought I'd tell you about how that felt for me and how it went. So yeah, I took the plane from Toulouse to London and stayed at another volunteer's house for the night. Never met her before. Absolutely lovely lady called Jilly, and we talked about all sorts until really late. But the actual moment of me meeting Sadhguru, it was not how I imagined it would be, I suppose. I didn't know what I thought it would be like, but I had asked other people, what was it like for you meeting Sadhguru for the first time, or just meeting him, being in his presence. And they all just say, there's no words really to describe it. It's like nothing else you've experienced. And I didn't know what it would be like to be in a room with a totally enlightened being. And the first time I met him, he was really quite a long way away because we were at Excel, and the room is absolutely immense and the volunteers are right at the back. So he was just kind of a tiny little speck on the stage. I couldn't see his facial features. I could just see his white hair, his white beard, and kind of the colour of his clothes. And then they had huge screens either side, so then obviously I could see the detail of him. So when I was listening to him speak, often I would just be watching the screen because I like to see his to see his facial expression, so I can really kind of understand what he's trying to communicate to me. But that sometimes I would just flick my eyes back to the centre between the screens and just remember that he's actually there in the room with me. So I do that every so often. So number one, even more than on the videos, he's absolutely hilarious. He makes me laugh so much. He's so light inside. It's just so easy for him to laugh or to smile or to bring lightness to a situation. He can just, turn things on and off from like whatever's happening. He's in total control of his being. The other thing I noticed is that it's just like this feeling like he totally dissolves away any crap that you have, whether you want to call it your karma or your energies are kind of all over the place. It's just like you're just kind of centered, you're calm but energized, you're alert, you're focused, and all the shit, all the crap, it's just not important. You're just focusing on him, you're focusing on what he's saying. I was able to laugh and to smile and literally laugh out loud in front of, there was 1,800 people there being participants, and then there were 500 volunteers. Some people weren't laughing out loud, but I didn't care. Just kind of, go for it. I was also crying, but I wasn't crying in the sense of being upset. I was crying from kind of joy and happiness and contentment and just kind of, feeling the divine. Tears are coming out of your eyes, coming down your face. It's like you're not even noticing that it's happening, it's just happening. And it's just the most natural thing to do that. And there's so many people that for crying it's all about, unhappiness, sadness, anger. It's all like the negative aspects of emotion. But when I was in front of him, it's all the positive, divine peace, joy, you can't describe it. It's just all the rubbish goes away and you're just left with, oh, amazingness. So that was really great, really amazing. There aren't words to describe it, you just have to feel it and go and experience it for yourself. And I think when you go to a temple that, for example, his temple that has all of the 7 chakras are vibrating at their highest frequency, you get the same sensation, the same feeling. You sit there absolutely content, centered, steady, stable, rooted to the ground, but at the same time, you know, it just dissolves everything. And being near the Dhyana Linga or being inside it, you have that same feeling. So it doesn't have to be someone like Sadhguru that's enlightened. It can be a temple, and some temples aren't kind of living or vibrant with this energy. Some have lost that, but he's managed to create one that will never lose that kind of power, that energy, that field of force, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, it's chilly. The battery's going, so I'm going to have to change batteries, and then I'll carry on to talk about the volunteering experience a bit further. And I'll see you in a moment. I'm back. So actually, I just thought of some other things I wanted to say about Sadhguru. And yeah, there was at one point during the programme that he was, an hour before, he said, oh, you know, would you let me walk out into the crowd, you know, without anyone touching my feet? He doesn't like anyone touching his feet. And I noticed he had his socks on. So I was actually able to get probably within 4 meters of him, which is quite rare. If I was to do some program in India, there's just so many more people that go to the ashram and see him. So, you know, it's a relatively small crowd. And when we were doing all of our dancing, some people went up really close to the stage, like right next to him, and, you know, put their arms up, try and touch him maybe, or he signed some people's books. I was just kind of happy dancing a bit more on the outskirts. I just wanted a bit of space and just enjoying the moment. And yeah, I did so much dancing, in fact, it's taken me nearly a week to get rid of the pain in my calf muscles. I think most people don't expect to go and do a volunteering Isha program and just do as much dancing as we did. It's great. Isha always do loads of dancing, and the live band was amazing. Yeah, so anyway, after that hour, he did come out into the crowd, and well, people were sitting down at the front on seats, and then the volunteers were seated on the ground. And actually, no, everyone was on their yoga mats, so there were no seats. And he had 4 people behind him to start with. They kind of crouched down, and they're kind of a bit like his bodyguards, I think, and he kind of put his hand back, like to push them away, as if, no, you don't need to come with me, you know, I'll be all right, no one's going to do anything to me. So he let them go, and people slowly started coming up to him, and then more and more people came up to him, and then more and more people came up to him, and it was like this huge swarm, really, of human beings, and getting really quite close. And some people he was hugging, I think. You couldn't really see the filming at that point because no one could film him because he was too kind of crowded with everyone. But one lady afterwards, she said, oh yeah, she was in that kind of crowd, and she thought she'd hurt a rib by the kind of pushing and shoving of the people around. And I was like, blimey, it must have been quite intense in there, a bit like a mosh pit. But I didn't feel the need to be that close to him, so I kind of sat where all the volunteers were. I didn't move, I just stayed in my place, cross-legged, and just kind of still a bit meditating, I think I was. Yeah, so that was a bit crazy. And one of my friends said, oh yeah, when I was up there dancing really close to him, I could have sworn he kind of looked at me and winked. Gave him a wink. and he may well have done. And when I was dancing at one point, I had this floaty top on, and I was kind of going for it. I think he might have been looking at me, but sometimes it's really hard with Sadhguru to know whether his eyes are open or whether his eyes are closed. He keeps them closed quite a lot. And I thought it was quite interesting how he gave himself space, because people kind of are asking for his attention quite a lot, and he would just kind of wander off around the back of the stage and kind of look at other things. And yeah, that was quite interesting how he managed the space and managed his people, because with every single person that's in his presence and in that room, he gives everything to. So it must be, like, for him it's not tiring. He can sleep 2 to 4 hours a night, and that's enough for him to survive and be, you know, energetic and live his days happily and with lots of energy. But still, he gives so much. I think that's why he has so many showers. So there's lots of blogs you can read on that. But he kind of is always cleansing himself with water to just kind of, I think it's to do with, you know, cleansing the energies from that he gets from other people all the time, that they're, yeah. Anyway, you'll notice it. If you have a shower, you feel different afterwards, don't you? Yeah, I think it's possibly like that for him too. So, volunteering. I was in 3 teams. I was in the flower team, I was in the team for setting up the hall, and I was in the team for dining, and that was mainly Sunday, because Saturday there weren't actual meals. All of the teams were really different, and I'm glad that I had that many tasks to do, because you just meet so many people and you do so many things and you help out in so many different ways. But I arrived late because of my flight in to Gatwick was at 7:55, and registration and getting your wristband and everything had stopped before I arrived. And so I missed out on the main briefing at the beginning, and I didn't get a proper sheet of paper and everything of the layout of the day or the weekend. So at first I was like, in all sorts of places. I was taken to the information desk, so I helped with participants, showing them where to register, and then I helped a bit with registration of the participants, and then I helped with luggage and everyone setting up all their personal belongings in the hall, and making that all tidy, because you've got 1,800 people's stuff to organise, so it doesn't become a mess and everyone can come back to it and know where their stuff is. So we made all these very organised lines, and we all had our bag given to us that we carried our shoes around with us everywhere. Brilliant technique. I didn't lose them the whole weekend. And the participants did the same thing. So yeah, I think that's what's so wonderful. You're doing this volunteering so that you can help all of these people that haven't maybe ever experienced anything to do with Isha, because inner engineering, which is what it was called, is kind of the beginning. It's the start. It's the stepping stone to the rest of what Isha Foundation do, and you can't really do any other course without having done it. And with his particular course with Sadhguru there, you do the 7 sessions of online inner engineering first, so that you're primed and ready for the weekend course with him. But most of the time, if he's not giving it, it would be 2 evenings and 2 whole days. And any other teacher that's teaching the programme would do it that way with the 4-day thing. Which also works beautifully, but then you don't have him necessarily, but not that that matters. So yeah, it's just knowing that you're there helping 1,800 people be initiated with Shambhavi Mahamudra, and to just experience something that's like something like they've never experienced in their life before, to be life-changing, to be the first step for kind of the rest of their life on this amazing journey that we're all on. And that sounds so cheesy, but if you haven't done that kind of yoga before, then you won't understand what I'm talking about. But if you've done Shambhavi, then you'll get it. You'll be like, yeah, I know what you mean, Joe. And yeah, so Sadhguru also says that you should be almost like you're a volunteer every single day of your life. Your willingness to give, your willingness to help others, your willingness to, when I do my gardening, giving to the soil so that I can, reap the benefits with my plants, and that they will give also in return. And it's just this kind of harmony that is created. And with me, I think it'll probably end up being 3 yoga retreats with Isha, whether it's Angamadana, Surya Kriya. I don't know, we haven't decided yet, but I'm going to volunteer and be one of the main organisers for these retreats in the Pyrenees. And that's just me being switched on with being a volunteer and wanting to give to more people, so that as many people as possible experience what I'm going through, and experience what all the other Isha people are feeling, and all the other yogis out there that are doing a practice that actually works for your physical being, your mental being, your energy body, everything. It's just working. And just physical yoga does not get to that place, does not come anywhere near the kind of place that we get to. Yeah, so I met a lovely Russian. I met 2 lovely Russians. One was a raw vegan like me, and we talked about food lots. And she said, on your yoga retreats, if you need someone to help out with, the cooking and the preparing and everything, then I'll come and do that for very little money. I'll come from England and, do that and help out with the food. So that was amazing. And then the other Russian was a young mum with 2 children who lived in London with her partner, and she told me that she locked herself in the room in the morning to do her practice, and I was like, really? Gosh, I don't do that. I have my family wandering around, but having done Mahashivratri sadhana and done it in silence in a room on my own, I've realised that how having that space and not having people coming near you, and the sounds and the shuffling and the walking and the movement of other physical beings around you, it's more powerful, and it's definitely something that I need to work towards and do my yoga on my own. I think it's really important. So she does that. So that made me think, us talking. I met so many wonderful people. And at the end, I took the underground home with Jayshree, and she said that she's feeling nearly ready to become a teacher with Isha Foundation. And I said, I know, I really want to do it too. I don't think for me, because I've just moved country, it'll be this year, but hopefully next year. And she says, yeah, I'm not sure whether it'll be this year or next year, but we might end up doing our training together, which would be really nice. Yeah, I really wanted to bring home an Isha organic cotton yoga mat, because mine are really old and gross, and one of them's not grippy anymore. And having cotton under me, I'm realising, is much more different experience than having synthetic yoga mat under you. I'm noticing that. Oh, and my I've forgotten the word for it now. My beads, they actually worked for the first time over the food, and some of the XL food wasn't positive pranic because they had tomatoes in it, so I did the special trick, the clockwise positive, anti-clockwise negative, back and forth neutral, and it did it, it worked. Well done, beads. They're my seeds actually, and yeah, that was quite cool. And there was one of the the Excel ladies who was helping us with the food stands when we were doing the serving and everything. We were talking about positive pranic food and all that kind of thing, and she was a Muslim lady and didn't eat meat, and she was starting to become vegan, and I think the only thing she had left to cut out was cheese, and she just had like an egg every so often, but she was pretty much vegan, and so she was really intrigued and interested, and we told her that, you know, Isha wasn't anything to do with God, and she was like, oh, you know, yeah, she found it intriguing. So yeah, be a volunteer 100% of the time, and your life will be in a transformational mode. That's what Sadhguru says. Transformational mode. So yeah, I hope that I can bring Isha Yoga to France, to the southwest of France where I live, and to do more volunteering, and to bring more Isha Foundation people to this area to come and volunteer, to come and help, and yeah, make this a much bigger experience for more people around the world, and let it spread like wildfire. Namaskaram, everyone, and I hope this has been interesting for you. Talking about Sadhguru, talking about my experience with him, and talking about volunteering. And I'll see you again on my next video. Bye bye.